Alright, so for today's video, we are going to be taking a look at the Klein Tools 7-in-1 ratcheting screwdriver. Now, this is, at the time of filming this video, a relatively newer release from Klein Tools. Now, the model number for this guy is 32561HDRT, the RT standing for ratcheting. Now, like I said, this is a 7-in-1 screwdriver from Klein Tools, and it is a little on the stubby side of things, which is a little bit nice. You do have a nice Klein handle, just like you have on all other screwdriver handles. That's the one thing I like about Klein screwdriver handles is that rubber overmolding that they use. For me, at least, it's very comfortable in the hand, especially when you're using the tool for a prolonged period of time. So there is the Klein logo, or the Klein name, I should say, embossed in that rubber. And then you have your ratcheting feature there. Now you can either move it to the left or to the right, or if you just move it to the center, or that dot is kind of lined up with the Klein logo, it will lock the tool into place. And then if you go ahead and rotate the tool around, you have your model number on the back side, and then you have some more safety warnings that are also kind of on the back side of that screwdriver. Now, coming to the handle, the thing I really like about the top of the screwdriver is the yellow imprinting on the lettering. For most Klein, or at least a lot of the Klein stuff that I have and have looked at here on the channel, for the most part, all that lettering on the top is, it's all white. And I do kind of like how they changed it up and made it yellow for this guy, or at least for some of the impact stuff. They have started to do it for the impact stuff where the lettering is in yellow, so that I do like that a lot. And I did kind of forget to mention that this is impact rated, so if you wanted to use these bits in your impact driver, you could. And like I said, this is the selector right here, so you can select it to loosen, or you can move it to the back side, and you can tighten with it as you please, and then you just have to lock it back in the middle and call it a day. Now, coming up to the front of the tool, you have a 1/4-inch nut driver, and then you do have these little tiny bits on the inside, and I believe this is a 1/4-inch slotted right here, and I think this is the number 1 Phillips, if I'm not mistaken. It could be the number 2, but this is your 1/4-inch nut driver, and it pulls out of the handle. It's kind of a weird little design of how it would lock into an impact driver, and I've seen some people, and have tried it myself, put this in an impact driver, and it does have a little bit of play with it. And these look to be, in my opinion, like a proprietary bit that Klein produces for this little guy. And then you just kind of insert that guy back, and then you got to pull the bottom off, flip it around, and it locks back into place. And then this is your number 2 Phillips, and this is your 3/16 slotted. Kind of weird that they mixed up the slotteds on these bits. Normally, you get the number 2, like on the combination drivers, you get the number 2 and the 1/4-inch slotted, and then you get the number 1 Phillips and the 3/16. I'm not really sure why they decided to do that with these bits, but they did. And then you have your 5/16 nut driver. Now, these nut drivers that are on this tool are not magnetic, so they're just a hollow nut driver. I know a lot of guys ask, oh, is there a way to make it magnetic or something similar to that, and that I'm not sure if there's a way. I'm not sure if you could run it through a magnetizer and test that to make it more magnetic, but these are just hollow nut drivers. Now, this guy is part of the Klein Connect. That's kind of like their tool line that comes in their packouts or their mod boxes. So you can take this guy apart, and this acts as a 1/2-inch nut driver, and it also allows you to lock in some of the other attachments, part of the Klein Connect kind of series of tools that they have out. Now, I currently don't own any of those, so I don't have anything to test that out, but I've seen some other people make videos online where they've locked some of the sockets, the pass-through sockets and things like that into this handle. So this, like I said, this is a part of that Klein Connect series, so if you wanted to add this to your lineup, or if you're really deep into that Klein Connect series, you might want to consider adding this little guy to your collection. And then you just get your standard bit holder. Now, the one cool thing about this is if you didn't want to use these bits, and maybe you wanted a little bit longer of a bit, you don't just have to click those bits in. I just have a Melco bit right here, and it doesn't seem to want to click into there. which is kind of a downside, more of like a proprietary design, and it doesn't hold those, so it will not hold those bits, which kind of is a downside. To that, you kind of have to use these little locking bits, whereas some of the other nut drivers, if you don't want to use the bits that are in there, you can, insert your own bits or whatever. But this little guy, you can't really do that with him, which is kind of a downside. Kind of makes it more of a proprietary tool where you have to use the bits that they give you. You can't change things out. And so it'll be interesting to see if they offer some replacement bits for this guy on the website or in the future, because I'm sure eventually if you use these in an impact or whatever, that eventually you're either going to break or dull these bits out, and or potentially lose them. That seems to be a common thing I see a lot of people complain about with these multi-drivers, is they end up losing the bits on them, and then they struggle to find replacement bits for them. So it'll be interesting, like I said, to see if Klein offers replacement bits for this. But with that being said, that's kind of all I have for this short little review on this guy. Now, like I said, at the time of filming this video, this is a newer release from Klein, and at the time, I can't really find any information on Klein's website. I just happened to stroll into my local Lowe's and saw it on the shelf, and decided, I didn't see that the last time I was there, and decided might as well go ahead and pick that guy up and see how it is. I've always kind of wanted a ratcheting little stubby, so I'll be interested to see how this guy turns out. But with that being said, that's all I have for this video, so thank you for watching.